Hello, thank you for being here. So, I will explain you a little bit today, like we said earlier, why you should integrate your business, if you're doing software especially, why you should integrate it with other software. So just to give you a little bit background about myself and about what we are doing at Aircall, so that you can explain why I decided to explain you that today. So I'm Jonathan, as you can see, I'm the co-founder of Aircall. Basically, Aircall is a phone system for companies, purely with a software approach that helps companies all over the world to create their phone system in a minute. And the big thing with Aircall is that it integrates with all the tools that companies are using. Either it's a sales team that uses a CRM, either it's a help desk that is being used by a customer service, we integrate with all of them. And it was really core in our strategy. So now I will explain you why your solution should really integrate with other software, why it will help you long-term to grow and to retain your customer. The first thing, maybe I'll give a little bit of background on the evolution of the software industry. What was the software industry? Most of you probably know, but it's interesting to see what was the evolution and how did we come up with what we have currently. So in the beginning, a long time ago, I was born like in the 80s, so I never really saw that, but there was the on-premise business. So you had these big softwares, really complicated, that you had to installed by the people that were selling you the software, and actually you were paying like a license, like a lifetime license most of the time, like a license that you would pay once, and then the only thing that you will pay is for the maintenance or is for the evolution of that software, and that software evolution was made by themselves. So that was the model of IBM for years and several others that you might know. And that was really complicated there because it was really kind of very big product that do a little bit of everything. And most of the time, when you do everything, you don't do it very good. So that was the on-premise. Very complicated to set up, very expensive to maintain, and no native integration, basically. If you wanted to integrate with specific software, really a pain in the ass. So the evolution, the small evolution was starting to do a little bit of SaaS. So the mix of on-premise and SaaS. You still have today some on-premise software with like a license kind of model, but on-premise in a way that you set it up on your servers. You have to maintain it, and it needs a lot of development all the time and evolution. Even though there is like a kind of SaaS model that you pay every month a fee, and that you can, in a way, integrate with other softwares. The big example is like those tools, yeah, you can integrate it. SAP is a kind of this tool, is a mix of both. When you want to do an integration, you can do it, but it's very expensive and very complicated to do because those software were not imagined in that way. And what happened then is that we had the SaaS coming, and the SaaS, the idea of the SaaS is that it's a software as a service. His evolution will be with you. With every evolution of the software, you don't pay anything new. You pay your license month over month, and that's it. That's all what you pay, and then you can integrate with other software. You had the API that started to exist early 2010 for several softwares, and now it's like common. So this is the evolution. So now let's get into a bit more detail why it's important to do those things. To integrate. So first thing, please, as a co-founder of a startup, and we've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm happy to discuss them all, but one of the main mistakes that you will do as a founder is trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to do something that already exists and that has been proven for years it works, and you try to just change this way. So the big example is reinvent the wheel. Avoid doing that. Things that exist for years and work perfectly do not have to be changed. You can improve some stuff and look for that. Don't do crazy things that you are the only one that might think it works. Ask people around yourself, always. So the big legend that I like to discuss right now is actually this product that we call the Omnicanal product. I call it a bit a legend because for me, when I have some competitors that are really like that, they're doing a phone system as well, but they're doing also emails, they're doing also SMS, they're doing also text, they're doing a bit of everything. They're also a CRM at the same time, and at the end it's an omnicanal product that is bad. So when you build your product, don't try to have it all. Don't try to be this product that you think you're going to be the OS of the company. Your product should be specialized in one problem that you want to fix, or several, but don't try to have all the features, everything. It's not that way that you will succeed. The key to the success, to me and to several entrepreneurs, you will notice, is to focus on what you have and make your product adaptable. If you cannot do it because, hey, you cannot just do everything what your customer wants, then make it adaptable. Open it. Make it possible for others to build on top, so through an API or through an integration partner that will do it for you and that will bring business to both of you. And the last thing, be API-centric. So that's the most important to me, is that have an API, make people be able to build on top of your software. This is happening every day at Aircall, actually, is that we have people, they say, I want this specific thing with my software or with my backend or whatever. And at that point, let them do it. And it's amazing because it will create retention and it makes your product really open to others. And you don't want your product to look like that. You don't want your product to just do everything and like to be able to, you have everything, but everything is like limit, it has a limit, doesn't look nice, and is complicated to use. Please avoid doing that. I've seen too many entrepreneurs failing just because they try to do everything with their product and not focusing on one single idea and make it work the best way they can. So one important thing, I said it already twice, but I say it again, focus on your vision. Your vision is the most important thing you have. If you don't have a vision, you have nothing, basically. So your vision matters more than one lead. I don't know how many here already have clients. I'm actually happy to see how many of you in here, and you can raise the hand, have already clients in their business. Okay, everyone, almost 50%, I would say. No, you will always have this client that will come to you and say, I'll buy your product if you do that. I'll have 1,000 people that I can put on your product and I'll make you rich, basically. Please don't do that. Your vision is more important than this guy. Even though you might think, hey, short term is amazing, the VCs will love it and they will want to invest because my cohort looks amazing with this kind of clients. No, don't do it, please. Do not work for one customer either. It comes from the same idea. You don't want to focus all your time on some guys that want very specific things. Make them build it. Give them the power to build this, basically. And make it as service as possible. That's the idea, is help them build it if they can. So you give them the keys to your API, to everything, so that they can build on top. And it will give you ideas to do that. The big thing for me is when you make your product, think about your business partner. Who are they? Are they competitors of yours? No, of course not. They're probably guys that have a very similar kind of clients. And you need to find them. Why? Because if you don't have integration partner, either you will have a very siloed product, so your product is a standalone product, and you try to do a little bit of everything, and your product won't communicate with other products, which is a shame. You want your product to communicate with all the products possible. It will allow you to build your product faster. At Aircall, when we started, we had this vision of phone system for companies, okay? We had several ideas. And we thought, hey, it's important that you integrate your phone system with all the tools the company uses. And if we wanted to make like a crazy product that does everything, we would have built our own CRM. But it doesn't make sense. What makes sense is to integrate with the top guys that have their CRM, use their features to give value to each of your customers. So it will allow you at the end to have integration partners. It will allow you to build your product faster and in a better way, because you have two specialized products, one with each other, and it's working the best. And this, of course, will generate you more revenue and will give you access to different distribution channels. In our case, things became serious at Aircall when we started to build our integrations, because the first integration we built was Salesforce, then it was Zendesk, then Zoho, etc., etc. We have about 15 now. And all those integration partners are real partners to us. They're giving us lead all the time, and we're growing thanks to them as well. our integration partner are bringing us today between 30 and 40% month over month of new leads. This is part of our growth, those guys. And they will be part of your growth as well if you have them. And of course, the most important probably is that your product becomes sticky. It becomes sticky because it's integrated with several tools, with probably your main tools. And then why people would leave? Because it's so complicated. They created all that. Their process are around this. So it's creating retention. So at the end, what I all like described here is that what you need to build at the end is a product that is global, that looks global, and that will be global later. So how does it look? Your product finally is this little dot in the ocean. Sorry for the design. My designers didn't have time to make it look nicer, but you will get the idea. Is this little product in the middle of the ocean, okay? What you want to do is integrate with top SaaS that have the same ICP, so ideal customer profile. You want to integrate with them to share like their clients and make sure their clients find value in your product and vice versa. And at this point, what will happen is that without even knowing it, you will create your API, because what you have created with one integration that you like, a specific product that you love and that you think it's relevant to the clients of this software that you're integrating with, other software will say, and it will open the ideas to other people, say, hey, I can do that with my tool as well, and I want to do it actually. And so your API exists, and people are starting to build on top of it, which is really powerful. And then the amazing thing is that other smaller integration partner will come and say, hey, I want to build something with this tool because it looks nice. It's bringing value to my product. And finally, you're going to have this new inflow of lead coming from everywhere because you have your integration that you build with bigger companies than yours. And at some point, some smaller company will come to you and build their own integration. And even the bigger company will call you and tell you, hey, I want to build this new product. Can you build it with us? Which is what happened to us. Like one of our integration is Intercom, that you probably all know. 6 months ago, I got a call from the CEO, say, hey, we want to build a phone system in Intercom. Is it possible? Can we do it together? And I said, yeah, of course, let's do it. And they did it. And they're bigger than us. So this is the kind of thing that you will get. And at that point, you get this new inflow of lead. And who are you finally? You're now a platform. People can build on top of you. And you can build on top of them. And your product is super sticky. So if your product is super sticky, you get a better retention. No churn, or less at least, than if your product is just a standalone. And at this point, normally if everything goes right, you're in a hypergrowth. You're hypergrowth because you have bunch of leads coming from everywhere, from your integrations, from new integration, from your outbound sales, from your inbound, a bit from everywhere. And don't let it not happen, because it's probably the most important thing for a product is to be able to communicate with other product and not being just this standalone product that works on its own and that is very easy changeable. The bad part of the integration, of course, cannot be only nice things. There is a few tricky things that you need to address quite early and that you want to avoid to be too dependent. The truth is that the more integration you will create, the more maintenance you will have. That was one of our mistakes early, is that we thought, okay, after 1 year of the product, a few $1,000s of MRR, we said, okay, let's do 10 integration at once. And in 3 weeks, we had 10 integrations. And then we realized, oops, the guy, one of the integration partner, like Zendesk or whatever, changes a little something in the product. Wow, everything changes, we need to recode, etc. So it's a lot of maintenance, so you have to be careful. You have to be careful the way you're creating those integration and at what speed you're doing them, to avoid being in the situation where finally all the time you're like spending all your time at fixing those integration. You want to avoid that. The other thing, what is going on? When the partner changes something, your roadmap will be impacted. So you have to be ready for that, because you cannot have then a downtime on your product, because the downtime will not depend on you anymore only. It will also depend on your partner that builds something and that is changing something in his product. So if the partner has a downtime, you got a downtime. If the partner changes something, he has no downtime, but you have a downtime on this part of the product. So be careful. It's one of the important things that you should monitor, and you should create very early when you have integration, dedicated tech people on it, dedicated product people that know how to fix things and improve if there is a problem. Because the integration is made to help the people, not to make it more complicated. Thank you so much for listening. If you have questions.